Good question.
I got an episode in the can with Matt Cox, but I think he put it on his Patreon, so I'm pretty sure he doesn't want me to fucking... That echoes too much. There's another cat over there.
Echo, echo, echo.
All right, folks, so we are in Lincoln, Nebraska. This is my get. Oh, we're getting some wind.
You can shut that door.
Can we shut that?
Yeah.
Why don't you introduce yourself to her?
Hey guys, I'm the Lectric Noodle. I hail from upstate New York originally, but for the past 21 years I've been blessed to live in Northern California.
Yeah.
I'm here on the road, trekking my way across the country, playing music to New York and back.
Yeah, so the reason we're doing this podcast, I own a home up in Omaha, which is about an hour from here, and so I had to come see Noodle because this is like the 10-year anniversary from when we met, dude. I can't even fucking wear these headphones. I need to so I can hear, but no, I gotta wear them.
What do you need to hear?
It's hot.
What do you need to hear? We're both here.
I just need to make sure that we're not... Yeah, you're right, I guess.
It's on. It's on. You're on, right?
We're on.
It
It's
says
on.
yes.
Blue light. So, I met Noodle on my 28th birthday. I'm 38 now, so it's been 10 years. We've been internet acquaintances pretty much since then.
Yeah, pretty much.
But on my 28th birthday, it was a period of time where I was not drinking alcohol. I was just smoking a lot of weed, maybe taking some therapeutic, some medicinal Molly and psychedelics here and there. And a good friend of mine who has recently passed, I don't know if I told you about that, but my friend Acacia, she was the person I was worried about that night. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She passed away, drove off a cliff in Northern California.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But she and I decided on my birthday that we would take some acid, or what we thought was acid. And a friend of mine, Bobby Sprinkles, best drug dealer known to mankind, had given her an Altoids tin.
Obviously, Bobby doesn't know Noodle.
Yeah, that's a good point. You guys probably could have run into each other at some point. You run in the same circles. So.
I've heard of Bobby Sprinkles, but I've never met him.
John Sample, Bobby Sprinkles, Brian? No, yeah. Anyway, he's just an interesting character. He used to live on a boat on Fisherman's Wharf where he could stay there for free as long as he ran the bilge because the boat was sinking. So he just had to be back at the boat every 12 hours to run the bilge, and he got free rent. But he would we call him John Sample or Sprinkles because he would give out free samples of whatever drugs he had. If he had liquid acid, he'd lay it down on some mints or paper or whatever and give you samples so you knew it was good shit. And he used to have Molly and everything. But anyway, he gave my friend Acacia some of these, I call them nightmare flavored Wonder Mints now. But he gave her some, she put it in her freezer, she never really did anything with it. I hadn't done acid in like quite a while. And I'd never really had a heroic dose or really, really tripped hard. I've only ever microdosed. Like, I used to be a tour guide on the double-decker buses, and I would take a little microdose, which I feel like people want that experice in San Francisco. They want to say, oh,
sure.
Fucking tour guide was frying
That was
balls,
fun.
dude.
That guy was fun.
Yeah. But, I dropped a cigarette in here just now. There it is. Straight.
Oh, you know what I'm going to do? Real quick.
Yeah, you can pause if you want.
Nope. You can, but, I'm just going to plug a fan in.
Yeah, it is getting warm.
I just saw you do that, so I'm like, I'm going to plug a fan in for you.
Here, let's pause real quick. All right, we're back. We got a fan. I don't care if you can hear it, audience, because it's hotter than a motherfucker. Nebraska has Texas heat with Florida humidity, dude.
Oof.
I mean, maybe not down here, but up in Omaha, because it's on the river. It's fucking gnarly.
See, I'm used to that with Rochester, New York weather. I lived on Lake Ontario for 31 years of my life.
Where the state bird is the mosquito.
Yes.
So anyway, back to our story. 28th birthday, wanted to have a nice little trip. My friend Acacia had these questionable Altoid mints that my friend Bobby Sprinkles had laid down. Some kind of psychedelic. And I told him that I was thinking about doing it on my birthday, and he said, don't take that shit. That's what he said to me. He was like, don't take that shit. That's not good shit. if you want to take some acid on your birthday, come see me. I'll give you the good shit. So what did I do?
You took the bad
I
shit.
took the bad shit, yeah. And so we took like half a mint each, walked around Golden Gate Park. Nothing happened. Ate some lemon flavored ice cream, 3 Twins. Good shit. Because, citrus is supposed to make it pop, right? Nothing. So we go back to her house, and I find a mint in the can that is like half the size of the other mints because it's had so much of this shit put on it that it's melted away all of the Altoid. So I'm like, we're going to take this one. And we break it in half, and right before I take it, I say to her, I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is how everyone who takes too much acid takes too much acid. Yeah. So we take it, and like 5 minutes later, we're both like fucking in another dimension. I was calling it the chip bag. Have you ever experienced that? Some people call it the silver jungle, where you're in like it looks like an Apple commercial where instead of all white, it's all silver, like you're on the inside of a chip bag. You've been there?
Yes. Very shiny.
Yeah.
Bright.
So I
Hurt your eyes.
immediately I see the like fear in her eyes, and it starts to make me freak out. So I fucking bail out of the apartment, and I start walking. I'm in the Richmond district, so I start walking down Balboa Street, and I get a couple of this is all in my book, Future Drugs and Other Sciences. If you guys want to go buy that on Amazon. Noodle read it. He liked it. But
and here comes me driving down Balboa Street.
No. Before that, so I'm going down Balboa Street, and I'm completely freaking out. I'm seeing like flying demons. Like me and a raccoon had a moment. Like it's funny with the raccoon. I saw like all these colors and stuff coming off of him, like clouds. Like when you blow, like when you have like a red light on and you blow smoke into it, how the smoke like swirls around, like that. Kind of like that, yeah. And anyway, me and Raccoon have a moment. I see a lady coming on a bicycle, and she goes by me, and she goes, or I go, help. I just said help. And she like circles around and stands kind of in the street, far away from me, with the bike in between me and her, because she doesn't know. I'm just a guy standing on the corner who asked for help, and she's like, what's going on with you? And I was like, I took acid, I took too much. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be like this forever. Remember I kept saying that?
Yeah, remember my nickname for you? Not Forever Nate?
Not Forever Nate. No, I didn't remember that.
That was my nickname.
Not Forever Ellis Jones.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
But,
Ellis.
Nah, it doesn't matter. Everyone knows it's a pen name. But anyway, so she tells me, I was like, yeah, I think you need to just call like an ambulance or a cop or something and have them come pick me up and take me to the hospital. And she like stops what she's doing and looks at me and is like, whatever you do not go to a hospital, because whatever you're going through right now, it's going to make things 1,000,000 times worse. And I was like, okay.
Agreed.
So she goes, where do you live? And I said, North Beach. And she goes, North Beach is that way. Follow the lights. I was like, so, like such a dumb thing. Like, have you ever been freaking out on acid? Like, I don't think that's like a good thing to say to somebody. So, whatever. I'm like, for about two seconds, I'm like, yeah, she's right, man. I'm not going to go. I'm just going to walk home. Like, and then like 5 minutes later, I'm like, fuck that. I'm going to try and flag a cop down. And I get to Park Presidio and Cabrillo, or what is it?
It's Balboa, actually.
Balboa and Park Presidio. And I had just tried flagging down a CHP officer.
You did flag him down because they came around as I pulled around and and was helping you with the blanket on the.
We'll get to that. So I'm standing there and I'm going in the whole time. As I'm walking down Cabrillo Street, I'm going in and out of these vivid hallucinations where I'm like in the hallucination. Like, I mean, I'm there. Like, and I remember at one point I like blacked out, went into some weird hallucination standing there, and I came to and I was eating dirt. I had like dirt in my mouth, and I started crying, dude. I'm like, I'm so fucking high. I'm gonna be high. I'm gonna be like this forever. And I look up, and in the Mirage was like a 70s VW, right?
Yeah. 86.
86 VW wagon, bus, whatever you want to call it. And there's a guy with round glasses and hair like that, sitting there driving, and I just heard it was like the voice of God said, he knows. This guy fucking knows. So when the light turns green, I'm like so excited, and I try to flag him down, get him to stop, and he just fucking just keeps going, and I started fucking crying again.
I knew you needed help from across the street. I knew you were in distress, but I also knew you were high as fuck on something. I mean, no normal, you don't stand like that. I try and you're like
I was fishing for help.
Fishing for help.
Yeah.
And dude, the CHP did come back around after I stopped and got out.
So he fucking keeps going past me, and then I just hear, brrr, and I'm like, he's coming back! I was so excited, like, he's coming back. And just like the lady on the bike, you like sit in the front seat of your car, and you're like, what's up, man? You're looking a little funny, dude. And I was like, I took too much, man. I don't think I'm gonna be like this forever. And you're like, took too much what, man? And I was like, acid, man. And you're like, get out the car, like, dude, I'm a psychedelic warrior, bro. I'm not going anywhere. And it was right around that period, like right when you realized I needed help and that you could help, that CHP rolled back up, and you like, was it after I'd already put the blanket on and was smoking weed? Because I remember we left right after they rolled up. So I'm freaking out, and Noodle's trying to like explain it to me that like, look, dude, you probably just took some stuff that wasn't cleaned very well, because if it oxidizes, it can have this, like, what do you feel like? And I was like, I feel like I'm on speed and acid. And he's like, yeah, you just got some bad stuff, man. Like, here, let's smoke some weed. This is my favorite part of the story, because I had this little Tupperware of weed in my pocket, and I hand it to you, and you're like, I got some weed, man. Let's smoke my weed. Like, because I just had some Bobo, like, fucking outdoor weed. And he gets this big pipe and some chronic fucking weed, and I sit on the sidewalk, and I'm like fucking smoking and rocking back and forth, and then you grab a blanket, and you're like...
All of these quilts are made by the
Acid Queen?
The Acid Queen.
Yeah. He's like, this belonged to an Acid Queen, man. This will make you feel better. And it did. And that's when the fucking CHP rolled up, and they're like, what's going on with this guy? And he's like, nah, he's fine. We're good. It's San Francisco. They don't give a fuck. They don't want to have... They're CHP. Yeah. They don't want to take me to fucking General Hospital and put me in the fucking psych ward. Like,
no.
So they let us go, and he's like, just like Cheech and Chong, like, hey, man, we're in a bad spot, man. We got to get out of here. And then I have, like, just a moment where I'm like, dude, you've been high on drugs for 20 minutes, and you're getting in a car with a fucking stranger. Like, this is how bad shit happens to people. But I couldn't have fucking found a better guide for my trip, because we drove all over the city. We went up to fucking Twin Peaks.
Coit Tower, Twin Peaks, all the good spots.
I forgot about that. Coit Tower, yeah. And then we were at Twin Peaks, and you're like... you know, the fog has a name, man. And I was like, what's his name? Or I said, what's her name? And you go, his name is Carl, man. Carl with a K. And then almost right then, somebody lit off a big explosive, like a firecracker or something. And you're like, how you doing? You good? And I was like, let's go. And you're like, yeah, I thought so. Like, so we just drove around, man, on the magic bus all night long. And eventually, like, once the sunlight came up, you parked at the marina.
Yep.
That was, I guess, like your sleeping spot at the time. And this guy was on his way to leave San Francisco, right? He was about to drive all the way back to upstate New York. He was going last minute to go wash all his laundry, so he didn't go to New York with dirty clothes. And it took time out of his busy schedule to just make sure I wasn't going to go jump off a fucking building or end up in a fucking psych ward.
Well, I feel that that's part of my responsibility of being a psychedelic warrior, is to help people through their journeys when they need it, when they're in trouble. They need a guide to get them through. You can't let somebody go to a psych ward or a fucking police or any or even a bad situation. I mean, dude, you could have ended up in somebody's basement as the Gimp.
Straight up and down.
Especially San Francisco.
Anything could have happened, bro. Anything. And then, so you got me there, and I remember chilling on the seawall there at the marina, and like literally, the sky was water. Like, it was like, it ebbed and flowed and breathed and moved and swirled like the ocean. And the bridge, because we're looking right at the Golden Gate Bridge, so the bridge is just like, and I'm doing this for hours. Like, that was the best part. When everything was fine, I knew it was going to be okay. I knew it wasn't going to be like that forever. It took a long time for him to convince me.
Everything was fine until I stopped talking. You would let me stop telling stories and talking. You're like, just, no, I don't care what you say, dude. Just keep talking, because when you stop talking, things start swirling again, and I start to go back. You really were like really adamant about, like, dude, you stop talking. You gotta keep talking. Yeah. And
I would be a great fucking psychedelic guide then, because I can fucking talk for hours with no prompt or no help or anything. Like,
no. People really they that's their only lifeline to hold on to.
Yeah.
And once that stops, it's like it's floating away. Hey, it's floating.
Yeah. It's like, whoa. But yeah, that was my favorite part of the whole thing, was was finally like once the sun started to come up, there was like some relief. I don't know if it was just not a good idea to take acid
I get that
at
every day.
nighttime, but like once the sun came up, I started to get like, and then I could really enjoy it, but it was still very, very intense and very dark. Like when I would look at people's faces, they looked like demons. Like it was this stuff. This is what I really wanted to get into. First of all, you kind of kicked me out at one point because I was smoking cigs by the bus, and you're like, bro, I cannot handle those. Like, you didn't say it in those words, but it's like I've done as much as I can. You know what I mean? Like it's daylight. You're better. You're not gonna be like this forever. And finally, I was like, you're right. Okay, I'm like, thank you, man. I'm gonna fucking stay in contact. Close the doors up. My homie calls me because he's leaving Bonnaroo. And I was like, dude, I took way too much last night. If I had had a shotgun, I would have blown my fucking brains out because I was that terrified. And he goes, hop in a cab. My girlfriend's in the mission. She'll babysit you until you feel better, right? So I hop in a cab, and there's a older Spanish man driving the cab, and he's talking to his wife on speakerphone in Spanish. And I get in the car, and immediately he's like, you all right, man? You don't look so good. And I was like, yeah, I fucking took too much acid last night. I'm freaking out, dude. And he's like, he just said something in Spanish and goes, acid. And then him and his wife fucking, he goes, blah, 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 acid. And him and his wife just start dying laughing at me. So he fucking, he's like, you know what you need? You need some milk. We're gonna stop and get you some milk. So he hangs up the phone with his wife, right? And he pulls out this weird fucking like half French horn, half trumpet thing. And we drive all the way from Fort Mason, like the marina, out to the mission. And the whole time, like through Hayes Valley, he's playing the fucking trumpet with one hand. Trying to keep me fucking calm, dude. Like,
yeah.
And then he stopped at a store, double parked, went in the bodega with his own money and bought me milk and was like, drink this milk until we get there. Like, 'cause apparently some people think that milk calms you down when you're on acid.
Well, acid takes care of milk.
I didn't know. Oh, you
milk
mean
takes care of acid? I mean,
no, that's not. That's fucking acid reflux, bro. Not acid.
I know, yeah, but that's what they're thinking. That's what the people connect, and that's why they're saying milk fucking takes care of acid, because they think acid is acid, and it's like,
right, like
I
stomach
mean,
acid.
technically it is, but it's such a minuscule amount that it's
right.
Come on.
So we pull up. I didn't even realize this whole time, right? We pull up, and I don't know about you, because you got whirly hair like I do. But acid, when I take too much or when I get like a real trip, my hair stands straight the fuck up on end, like Kramer. Why does it do that?
It's the electricity in us.
You think so?
Yeah, yeah. It's
so
like,
I show up,
you know when you touch the electric thing and your hair fucking goes.
The Newton ball or whatever. Yeah.
No, I didn't. When we're on acid,
and I feel like everything has a weird.
You know how electric we become and alive. It's much more, and it goes right on our hair. Our hair's our antenna, so I mean, of course, it's gonna.
Interesting. Yeah, I never.
I've
actually never had a chance to ask.
Being a curly-haired mofo like that, I know that because it happens to me all the time.
Do you feel like the texture of your hair feels weird after a big trip?
It does. It changes, and my beard and my mustache, my facial
hair
grows
like oily.
Well, you're pushing. So I don't know. I feel that I push it out more. It grows more on that. And
then I feel like my spatial stuff is like dysmorphic. Like, I remember, especially after that trip, like, I didn't realize how skinny I was. I have, like, body dysmorphia.
Okay.
And I remember standing in the shower and being like, bro, you're like skin and bones. But that's not, like, what I see when I look in the mirror. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But anyway, what you kept saying the whole time, and it took me probably a year of talking to people about it afterwards, was like, you're like, don't call it bad acid, man. There's no such thing as bad acid. Like, what you took is not bad acid. It could be maybe unclean. But more than likely what it is it's some analog that was not processed the right way. And so I've heard from different people that this stuff is called STP or DOM or DOC, or it could be a 2C.
2CI.
2CI or 2CB.
Yeah. 2CB wouldn't have done that to
wouldn't
you.
Have done
but
that.
2CI would.
Because this was just pure evil. You know how, like, when acid kicks in, you feel it in your spine, you're like,
Somebody gave me a bottle that had DOM in it, and they told me it was LSD, and I drank the whole thing. And I ended up, it was a Thanksgiving, I ended up by myself, because Stacy, my girlfriend at the time, went to her parents' house. I cooked a turkey. Well, the turkey came alive in the oven
Oh, my
as I
God.
was cooking it. Every time I opened the oven, it started smelling good. I looked at it, and it would get angrier and angrier. And by the second or third time I opened the oven, I vowed not to open the oven again. I turned it off, and the turkey was going to eat me.
Yeah, this shit, like,
And like the voices that came out of the wall were everybody on the. I heard everybody on the block get together, all the families, all the apartments. It was thousands of conversations at once. It was very terrifying, and I couldn't shut it off.
Yeah.
And it was just, I wanted to. I tried so many techniques of meditation. And
what I realized afterwards, that like, because you're gonna take. I'm like, I'm never touching this shit again. You're like, you're gonna take. Don't say that. Like, you're gonna. It's not an evil drug. Like, you're gonna take it again sometime. And I remember you telling me at the time that like, booze can really level you off. It's dangerous because you can drink too much, but it can really level you off when you get to. But I was like very strict not drinking at the time, and I think I probably wouldn't have freaked out as hard if I had just gone to the store and bought a bottle of vodka or something and slugged that shit to take the edge off. Because I've done that before, or I've done that since, when the acid is too, much. But the one thing I will take away from it is, because this is like regular acid makes you feel good for no reason. It's the drug, right? This made you feel bad for no reason. So I've heard that this stuff is used like by, I don't know if you call them hippies, but like, let's just say Northern California acid eaters. If they've eaten so much acid in a lifetime, the regular shit, they got to take a bunch of it, and they're not going to have like a heroic dose. They're not going to have, it's just not possible with their tolerance. So they'll take this shit. This is the legend. This is what's been told to me.
That's like, a wrong legend.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm just telling you what they told me. But they take this stuff to like check their demons, and like, it really was like, it was pure evil. Like, I mean, you felt terrified. I felt terrified the whole time. Even hours after, in the morning, the next day, people's faces just looked permanently evil. Like, they looked like demons. Like, I could not shake it. Even when I wasn't.
I know what you're talking about. I've been through it, and I understand. I used to, before I did any psychedelics as a young teenager. I mean, I want to do STP 72-hour trip. Like, oh, that's great. No fucking way. I mean, yeah, maybe on acid, but not on that stuff.
No.
But not even on acid, dude. 72 hours gets old.
It was terrifying.
It's too long. 12 hours is almost too long.
And I was still shook by it for like 6 months afterwards. Like, but you know what? Yeah. It was honestly, just like you said, it was a very, it was an eye-opening experience, because I didn't realize what actually living in your trauma was. I did not realize. Like, the first bad feeling that I had when the shit kicked in was, it reminded me of a time when I was locked up when I was a kid, where I felt completely abandoned and alone, and like there was no good left in my life. And so what it made me do was kind of think that like you're kind of carrying that around with you all the time. You know what I mean? So like, and it also too was like, it was so much mental suffering and anguish that I was like, one thing I majorly took away from it afterwards was like, do whatever you can to not cause this kind of situation in people's brains, or contribute to it, because any amount of suffering is this. You know what I mean? Like, people, you don't know what you're contributing to in people's brains that is attached to something this deep and painful. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. Reliving those memories and traumas is tough, but doing that while wide open is not. It's tough. Isn't even touching the surface of it.
Yeah.
It's you gotta really learn to let all that go. And the only way to do it is to head face on like that. But that's I don't recommend that as a. You got to work your way up to that.
Yeah, that's not a thing you do to party on your 28th birthday.
No, totally.
But you know what? If I hadn't done it on accident to myself, I never would have done it, and I wouldn't have taken away the valuable lessons that I learned from it. Like, would I do it again? No. But I'm glad that I survived it. Like
me too.
And I'm glad that it didn't, like you told me at the time.
A lot of people don't, because they don't have somebody to get them through it.
Straight up.
And they get stuck. And once you're stuck,
you may never get out.
Sometimes there's not a way out.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, imagine if I had never resolved what I went through on that, and I still saw people's faces as like evil demons. You know, I was starting to believe, if I hadn't had somebody talking me out of it, I was starting to believe that like I was seeing people's inner self.
yes,
You know what I mean?
I know.
Like,
I definitely know what you mean.
so
because
imagine that you just go around the rest
It's
of your
almost
life.
it's almost like there's like a mask on, and then it's
Do you know
not
what-
on anymore, and it's like, but you're the same person, but you have a different fucking face.
Yeah. Do you remember in the first Batman Begins, not the old Batmans, but the newer generation of Batmans? Mm-hmm. It's like Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and then the Bane one that sucked.
That was terrible.
Yeah, I hated that. But the first Batman Begins is Scarecrow is like gonna poison the water supply, and it's that same the aerosol.
Yes.
And then people's faces look up, they go demon like it was just like that, except it was permanent and like not permanent, but you couldn't do anything to make it go away. You could rub your eyes, you could slap yourself in the face, and it was like demons were walking around everywhere. It was fucked up, and that was the scariest part too. Was while I was tripping hard, I thought it was gonna be like that forever, but I had never I'd only ever microdosed acid. So I had never experienced anything. I don't care how much weed you eat. You can take a shower, you can drink a beer, you can do something that's going to kind of offset the weed. Like take a nap. It felt like there was nothing that I could do to make this shit stop. It was like it took control of my brain, and I'm on this fucking ride until it says it's over. You know, like I never experienced that before, and I've kind of almost come close to that with regular acid. But again, that's a good thing when it makes you feel good. Like, take me away, go ahead. I don't want it to stop. Like, but when it's nightmare flavored, when you're in like a hellscape,
No, thank you.
yeah,
I'll pass.
yeah,
Been there, done that, and that's really taught me to know what you're eating
yeah,
and know who that comes from and what intention has been put into that.
right.
Because it could be great. The medicine could be great, but if someone puts the bad intention or wrong intention into that, then
There was definitely some
it's
fuckery involved from Sprinkles on that because
it's no good.
he sold a bunch of sheets of it to a kid in Colorado, and he took it out there and sold it at a festival, and people found him and beat the living. When he came back to San Francisco to talk to Sprinkles, he was beat the fuck up. I mean, broken bones in his face, 2 black eyes. I mean, they found him and beat the living shit out of him because he was selling this shit and didn't know that it was bad shit. You know, Sprinkles told him, this is whatever, it's regular acid, you know, and it wasn't. It was some evil fucking analog. And he had done it too to a guys who had a poker night. They're like, oh, we'll take a little bit of acid, and then they all freaked out on this fucking crazy shit. I think he thought it was funny, like. And,
Oh yeah, no,
but he felt bad when I told him the next day. I was like, bro, I would have killed myself if I had fucking had the opportunity to. Like, I would have jumped off the fucking bridge if I could have, because I thought it was never going to stop. I thought I was going to be like that forever. And he's like, oh man, you know, I kind of got the impression from him that he had no problem kind of doing that to other people, that he didn't really give a fuck about, because he sees it as harmless. Mm-hmm. But when he knew, when his little fuckery got around to somebody he cared about,
But the lives that affects, I mean, one person that could.
dude, there are hundreds of people throughout this country that got that bad acid. I've met people in New York who are like, yeah, I like acid, but there's this other stuff where you go into like a potato chip bag and it's like pure evil. And I was like, oh, you had that. I don't know if it came from him, but you had that same shit. And I've met people all over the country who have gone through that same bad trip. And I have to think there's only so many places that the shit comes from. I mean, and from what I heard, he was maybe affiliated with some kind of possibly fictitious family that supposedly makes things and distributes them, but we don't talk about that, right?
Those are the bad people.
Are they really?
Yeah,
I thought they were like good. Like
they think they're good. But
they think they're good, but they're because I've heard that
it's all for greed and money and status.
I've heard in some circles of like psychedelic, maybe some people might call them hippies, you know, that this particular drug is used as a punishment in that group.
I could see that.
Yeah. Like they'll tie you to a tree, hit you with a gang of it in a spray bottle, and then fucking leave you to figure it out because you disobeyed. Or it's the same way that gangs like DP you by beating you up. They'll just give you a fucking. What was it? I knew a homeless guy who was affiliated with some sort of group like that, and he wasn't homeless, hobo, you know.
When I was in a halfway house, I got a sock party because I slept with one eye open.
Why?
I don't know, because I was
just paranoid?
Wow. And I got the shit beat out of me because of that.
Because what? They thought you were looking at them, or?
I don't know.
Oh wow, that's fucked up.
I was the new guy. I was sleeping with one eye open. They're all like, "Man, is he dead?" I mean, I got that a couple of
What
times.
did they put in the socks? Just bars of soap?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think there's batteries in a few of them.
That'll fuck you up. That'll
Oh,
break
dude.
bones right
It
there.
hurt.
Yeah.
I had welts all over it. Fucking, that sucked.
Well, we got about half an hour. We got the whole story in. I mean, do you got anything you want to talk about? We're in an RV right now. This is also Noodle's home. It's covered in beautiful tapestries.
Made by the
and
Acid
paintings.
Queen.
Made by the Acid Queen. Shout out to you. Thanks for your blanket. That really helped me out. Do you know her still? She can
I
see
do.
this? Okay, cool. Yeah.
She's down in Guatemala.
And you said you've been telling the story a lot over because I put it in my book. I tell it all the time.
Yeah.
Literally at the bar that we were at downtown
Yeah.
while I was waiting or
Yeah.
while I was taking a piss. They're like, "What are you doing in town?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing. Haven't seen this guy in 10 years. He found me on acid on a street corner in San Francisco." And they're like, "That's going to be a good podcast." And I was like, "I hope so." Like, it's definitely a funny story. But.
Yeah. No, I'm just back out on the road after, a little 6-year hiatus of figuring out my health, which, still eludes me to this day. But, I'm able to play the guitar again, so I'm out doing it.
Where have you been? Northern?
Been up in Northern California for, about 6 or 7 years now, outside of San Francisco.
Nice.
I stayed in San Francisco for about 2003 to about 2011 or 12. I've been gypsy after that, So, but back out on the road playing music, that's where I need to be.
Hell yeah. He just played what was the name of the festival you just played here in Lincoln?
Ooh, it was autumnal. I can't remember the name of it. It was a weird name.
Yeah, and no one showed up this year, so you guys, if you're in Lincoln,
Next
year. He'll be here.
Next year.
I'll probably be here. Maybe I should play next year.
We could.
Yeah. Maybe we should collaborate.
Talk to Ethan and the Dill Pickles. They were great. They were
Dill Pickles?
another band that played the festival. Those guys rocked. Really good, fun band.
Hell yeah.
But I'm having a good time back out on the road and living life, living the dream. Me and Lucifer Lynx.
He's riding around in an RV with
my trusty companion.
I don't think we can get her on the camera.
Sure, I can
With
pick her up.
Part lynx.
How about
this cat
that?
is part lynx.
Miss Lucy's just sleeping here, but she'll come and say hi. Hey, baby, say hi to everybody. This is Lucy, my baby.
Is she a Hemingway?
She's a Highland Lynx.
I thought she maybe had an extra.
She does.
She does, yeah.
What's it called? Pterodactyl or Paradactyl or something like that.
I don't know. In Florida, they call them Hemingways.
Wow.
Cats with an extra set of paw or extra finger.
I say they're the PlayStation thumbs. I taught her how to play Tekken with me.
That's funny.
So she's not the greatest, but she tries.
All right, I think we gotta take a break.
All right.
Here, we can just stop this.